You're right, YouTube. So I thought I'd do a video today about my spiderlings that I've got. Similar to the video I did about my avicularia, just going through basically what I have, how I keep them, and a sort of progress report as such, really. So we'll start off with my OBTs. We'll go through my Brachypelma smithi, my Tapeticini subcorelius, my HNC community, my avicularia amazonica, even though I know I went over that before in the last avicularia one, but as it's a spiderling it's just going to be a crossover, and my Poecilotheria rufilata. So cool, check out. Okay, so first off we have my two OBTs. Yeah, here we go, my two OBTs. I bought these off of Poxicator back, when was it? It would have been about September time, I think, last September, with my Poecilotheria rufilata. They've actually only molted with me once since I bought them, but they eat loads. I think they're in pre-molt at the moment. I don't know how big they're going to get. You can see they've webbed up substantially, but they're quality tarantulas. Really fun to watch. They're always out and about doing things, I found, and whenever you put food in, if they're not in pre-molt, then bang, they hit it straight away. They're also very easy to care for. I've never once sprayed them with any water or anything. There's no water bowl in there as they're too small, and they're doing fine. They seem to just do fine if you just leave them alone and feed them. So if you're a beginner, then I would say you might want to think twice about these guys, because when they grow up then they do get pretty hardcore. But if you feel confident and you've had some experience with some other tarantulas that might be a little bit feistier, then I'd say go for it. As far as the conditions, they're very easy to care for. Just that they're like a warm and dry. So yeah, we'll move on to my Brachypelma smithi next. Okay, so this is my Brachypelma smithi that I bought last May when I also got my Avicularia amazonica sling. It's still absolutely tiny. You can see it's still in the original pot that it came in. It eats okay. It's a bit of a fuss eater, this one, to be honest. I don't know if that's just because it's so small, because usually my last Brachypelma smithi that I had no problems whatsoever with feeding it. But this one seems to be a little bit less hungry. At the moment I think it's in pre-molt. It's got the little black spot on the abdomen that you can see, but it always seems to have that. It's got quite a fat abdomen. The last roach I put in there it didn't eat. I tend to spray this one about once a week, but it's not really done a lot recently. I've been thinking it was in pre-molt for a while now, but it's just not molting. So I'm just going to keep spraying it once a week. I'll keep putting food in, and if it eats it then great. If not, then just see what happens. Generally these guys are fairly easy to look after. They're quite slow growers, so if you've got a female then you're looking at sort of a long while before it matures. I would say about, I think it's about 10 to 15 years before a female matures. Life expectancy in captivity can sort of get up to about 30 years in good conditions. These ones are great for beginners, but I wouldn't get it as a spiderling this small as a beginner, because it's very easy to go wrong with it. I would recommend getting a juvenile or an adult if it's your very first spider. But they're lovely tarantulas, and I'm looking forward to this one, you know, when it starts to pick up its colours a bit. Next we shall go on to my Tapeticini subcorelius. Okay, so this is my Tapeticini subcorelius tub. You're never going to be able to see this thing because it's still tiny. It's molted with me once since I bought it. For those of you that saw the video when I did get it, it was absolutely miniature. Well, it's not really grown all that much, but I tend to keep this quite humid. This little tub needs spraying today. Actually, I sprayed it before I went home for 2 days, so I got back today, and already I think it needs spraying again. I'm feeding this thing, it's because it's so small, I'm feeding it on bean weevils, and I pretty much put in 2 or 3 bean weevils about once a week, and that's fine for it. I don't want to power feed it. I'm in no rush to make it grow particularly fast. I'd rather it just screw it at its own pace, really. These guys need it quite humid. Like I say, it looks a bit dry at the moment because I need to spray it. But they're very attractive little things with sort of pinkish white little legs. Very quick, and I don't know if you can really see on this video, but it has webbed up quite a lot in this tank. so I'm looking forward to when it grows a bit bigger. I assume it's going to web up more profusely, so that should be pretty interesting. From what I gather, these guys are pretty feisty when they grow up, so it should be interesting to see what it's like. This tub's probably a little bit big, but I've not had any problems, so I would say this is fairly good for anyone, fairly good size for anyone that hasn't had one before. I mean, I think I got it as a first install, and I've had no problems with it being or feeling insecure, which can happen when an enclosure is too big for a spiderling. Next we shall go on to my HNC community. Okay, so this is my HNC community tub that you can see. There's a little bean weevil there that's just trying to escape. It was a community of 5. I can't remember when I last did an update on these guys what I had told you, or what, where you're up to with knowing what's going on with these guys, but since the last update they're now down to 2, unfortunately. One died during the cold snap that we had with all the snow, just after it molted. That was just after I came back from Christmas. I don't know if I told you that when I told you about my green bottle blue dying. I was pretty pissed off with that. And 2 got eaten by their peers, which was purely my fault. I was not putting enough food in, and I'm really pissed off with myself with that. It's the first community I've ever had, so I just, I purely my own fault, and I have no excuses really. But ever since you can see the amount of bean weevils that are trying to crawl out now, so I've learned from my mistake, and I'm not allowing that to happen again. I constantly keep bean weevils in here because they can't harm the spiderlings at all. The one that you can just see there, or at least I hope you can see there, that one still hasn't molted. I've been waiting for ages for this little one to molt. I can't find the other one. It should still be here. I check them pretty much 2 or 3 times a day, so it should still be okay. They've webbed up quite a bit. You can see, I don't know if you can sort of see in the corner there, the light's shining on it and it's making it a bit difficult to see, but you can see in the corner there it's webbed up quite a lot. I keep these guys quite humid. I spray them sort of every, I don't know, about two times a week, and they seem to be doing okay with that. I've had no problems as far as them looking like they are not happy with the humidity. Like they burrow okay. They're not trying to stay off the substrate because it's too humid or anything like that. They're not showing any sort of signs of distress as far as the humidity is concerned. So I think I'm doing okay with that, and I keep them fairly warm. I keep them quite close to the heat map. But yeah, these guys are pretty cool. I'm currently looking. I was looking at getting Sven Kopler's mating pair, but I think they've already gone, so I'm pretty gutted about that because I would quite like to make my own HNC. They're one of my favourite spiders, definitely. I absolutely love them. Okay, so next we'll go on to my Amazonica. Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much about my Amazonica because I did this one the other day with my avicularia video, but I got this at the same time I got my Mexican red knee spiderling back last May from the spider shop. It lost a leg, grew back fine. This one is just awesome, highly recommended for any beginner who wants to get into the arboreal species. It's just amazing, beautiful looking. They get to a massive size. I've had no sign of aggression whatsoever out of this little fella. It's just awesome, absolutely love it, and it's just a fantastic looking tarantula. And I think it's in pre-molt at the moment, as it hasn't eaten the last 2 roaches that I put in. So I shall keep you guys posted on how that goes. So I'm not going to say any more about that because I said quite a lot in the last video. So next I shall go on to my final spiderling, which is my Poecilotheria rufilata.